Family trusts are now going to pay a minimum 30% tax. Who benefits from this and who gets hit the hardest? Well, the first thing to understand is at the moment, family trust or discretionary trusts, if they make a profit, can allocate that profit to anybody in the family. And that means if you're allocating it to, for example, adult kids that are studying at uni that don't have another source of income, then you can allocate $18,200 to them and not pay any tax at all under the previous rules. Now, the trust itself is going to pay 30% tax. And that means that if the trust makes a $100,000 gain in the year or profit in the year, it's going to pay 30% tax. And that means there's only $70,000 left to distribute. But when it distributes that money, if it then distributes that money to someone who's on a very low income or no income, they don't get any rebate on what's already been paid by the trust. They just get the money and that's an end to it. But if the benefits are allocated to someone in the top income tax bracket, which is including Medicare is 47%, then they're going to pay the difference between what the trust has already paid, which is 30%, and their tax rate, which is 47%. So they'll pay the extra 17% on top. So the people losing from this are typically going to be people with adult children and also elderly adult relatives that they were supporting via family trusts, and also older people. I will get a disadvantage. I'm 58 years old. I've got property owned in family trusts. In retirement, I was hoping to get some of that income, use my $18,200 tax-free threshold, only pay 14% on the next $26,800, so that up to $45,000, I'm only paying about $4,000 in tax. Whereas now that same $45,000 in income is going to get taxed at 30%, which means I'm going to be paying $13,500 tax at minimum when I retire if I want to take that income at that point in time. So the worst people impacted are going to be retirees, people with older beneficiaries, people with adult kids in school. You were never able to allocate money to kids under 18 who weren't working. You could give them $416, but that's neither here nor there. I hope that makes sense, but I will be negatively impacted by it, but I'll just reconsider the entity that I own properties with in the future. And maybe I'll reconsider whether a company is a better entity because the company would only pay 25% instead of 30%. Does that make sense?